The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of Digi-all. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to Digi-all Tech News. Today is Thursday, April 16th, 2026. I'm Kylie Brooks, and today the AI story is not just about better models, it is about who gets to reinvent themselves around AI, who gets protected by the law, who loses jobs in the name of efficiency, and how synthetic media keeps pushing into politics and public trust. Allbirds is leaving shoes behind, rebranding as NewBird AI, and trying to turn a failed sneaker company into a GPU infrastructure play. A Christianity Today essay argues that Trump's AI-generated Jesus imagery shows how synthetic media is colliding with politics, religion, and public symbolism. Australia's federal court has warned lawyers that careless use of generative AI can mislead the court and bring real sanctions. Lawyers in the United States are telling clients that chats with Claude or ChatGPT may end up in court instead of staying private. Snap is cutting about 1,000 jobs while saying AI tools should help smaller teams move faster and do more with less. Allbirds may have the strangest AI pivot of the week. The company says it will rebrand as NewBird AI, raise up to $50 million in financing, and move into GPU leasing and AI cloud services after agreeing to sell off the consumer brand. The stock exploded on the announcement, but the harder question is whether this is a real infrastructure strategy or just a public market shell chasing the hottest narrative on Wall Street. Either way, it tells you how powerful the demand story around AI compute has become. One of today's most revealing AI stories is not about software performance at all. In Christianity Today, Russell Moore argues that Trump's AI-generated Jesus image shows how synthetic media now feeds political identity, religious symbolism, and viral spectacle all at once. The point is not only that the image was provocative, it is that generative media is becoming a cheap, fast way to create symbolic events that travel farther than context or restraint. Australia's federal court is trying to get ahead of a legal mess that courts everywhere can see coming. New guidance says lawyers must verify citations, disclose certain uses of AI, and handle confidential information carefully, because generative systems can fabricate authorities or distort evidence. Chief Justice Deborah Mortimer made the court's position very clear. Efficiency is welcome, but misleading the court is unacceptable. That is a sign the legal system is shifting from vague caution to enforceable operating rules. In the United States, lawyers are now warning clients that chatbot conversations may be discoverable in court. That warning follows the Heppner case, where a judge ruled that documents created with Claude were not protected by attorney-client privilege because a chatbot is not a lawyer, and the platform is still a third party. Another federal ruling took a narrower, more protective view in a different context, so the law is still developing. But the practical takeaway is already clear. If you are in legal trouble, do not assume your AI chats are private. Snap is cutting roughly 16% of its staff and explicitly tying the move to AI-enabled productivity. Evan Spiegel says smaller squads have already been using AI to reduce repetitive work and increase speed, while the company aims to cut costs by $500 million a year. Snap still has bigger profitability problems than AI alone can explain, so this is not a clean story of software replacing workers. But it is one of the clearest signs yet that AI has moved from innovation language into headcount logic. The common thread today is that AI is escaping the lab and rewriting the rules of ordinary institutions. Companies are rebranding around it, courts are drawing boundaries around it, and workers are being measured against it. The next phase of the AI story will be less about what models can do in theory, and more about what happens when organizations use them to shift money, power, and responsibility in the real world. That's it for today's briefing. Thank you for listening to Digi-all Tech News. I'm Kylie Brooks, and we'll be back with more as these stories keep moving.